welcome to another episode of What Travis Says. My name is Travis, and today we're going to talk about Doctor Who. Now, before I begin this video, I just want to say that I don't have one simple fix for the entire series. It is undeniably clear that the Doctor Who community is divided on where the show should go from here. There are probably thousands of fans who believe that it's time for Doctor Who to take a break for 10 or 15 years, but I don't necessarily agree with that sentiment. Instead, I'm going to talk about what I've always loved about Doctor Who, what I've always found so interesting about my favorite Doctor Who stories. Because that is ultimately what it comes down to, the stories. A writer from The Guardian by the name of Martin Bellum is one of those who believes that it's time for Doctor Who to die. He says that shows like The Mandalorian and Loki are upstaging Doctor Who. Just as the 70s Doctor Who looked cheap and wobbly next to Star Wars, the show now suffers by comparison to Disney Marvel TV shows. Wow, that is harsh. But in my opinion, missing the mark. Doctor Who could not compete with Star Wars back then. It just couldn't. Even today, Star Wars is far and away this megalith of a gigantic franchise in comparison. Doctor Who cannot compete with Marvel Studios and Lucasfilm now, but it shouldn't be trying to. We as fans tune into the show for the stories, not necessarily the special effects. But speaking of stories, we've got to talk about the Timeless Child. My jury is still out on the whole thing because the story isn't necessarily complete, and I am an optimist when it comes to my entertainment, and I feel that there is a slight chance that Chibnall will be able to stick the landing. But in the case that he does not, and we get a new Doctor and a new showrunner for the 14th season, something big needs to happen. One of my favorite adventures of Doctor Who to show friends of mine who have never seen an episode of Doctor Who is not Blink. I honestly do not understand people's fascination and adoration for an episode like Blink. Yeah, it's fine, but the Doctor is barely in it. No, my favorite adventure to show people who have never seen an episode of Doctor Who is the two-part adventure, The Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone. There are so many things I feel makes this adventure great, besides the fact that Matt Smith is just brilliant. Amy gets taken to her first alien planet. The Doctor and Amy don't really get separated too often. The Doctor always gets to play the smartest one in the room, and River Song. The great thing about this is that a new viewer won't know who River Song is, and neither will Amy, and the Doctor barely knows her. So the viewer gets to watch the adventure unfold through Amy's eyes, just as Amy does. We get to watch these new experiences, Amy's questioning everything, the statues, River, just as a new viewer would. And the Doctor doesn't necessarily know the answers to all of Amy's questions, and so we are left even more enticed. There's plenty of comedy, action, spooky scenes, puzzles to solve, and River Song. Did I mention River Song? Now, I didn't hate the previous season, 12. I thought it was fine. But to critique the adventure, I felt that they split up way too often. The Doctor would go off by herself or with one of the companions, and the other two companions would go some other way, and then they would meet up later and compare notes and tell each other what the other one did. Overarchingly, there's a lot going on about the Doctor's past, but in the here and now. And don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the possibility of where it could go, but what does that leave the companions to do? The companions are usually supposed to be the audience's tether to the Doctor for those experiences, and they're just running off with the B story. Too many times in this new series, the Doctor's story is being told, but not necessarily through the eyes of the companion. The companion is just confused the whole time, like some of the audience. You have a literal time and space machine, and you want to stick around in the Doctor's past, in the here and now. I get that the Doctor needs those answers, but literal time machine. The Russell T Davies era of Doctor Who brought about the Time War, which sort of put a reset button on the Time Lords and kind of put a little bit of a jump for Doctor Who, provided it had been off for a while, but it allowed this little jump and then we got to fill in the backstory later. But it also added this depth and gravitas to the character of the Doctor, this mystery of what happened, but still sticking with the here and now adventures. The show didn't necessarily go into the Doctor's past to change anything, until the 50th anniversary, but it did this little jump, and then it filled it in slowly over time. I guess that's what I feel Doctor Who needs right now. Something at the end of the 13th season to give it a little bit of a jump, and then maybe explore that time jump a little bit, rather than going all the way back and trying to stay in the here and now. And also to remember that they have a literal time and space machine and they can go wherever they want, so they should use it! In the comments down below, let me know what you want to see out of Season 14 and what you enjoy most about previous favorite episodes of Doctor Who that you have. But as always, my name is Travis, thank you for listening to what I have to say, and you will see me soon.